And that is track number 3 on today's MSI. This time around, we're going to go straight to Mr. Tom Oswald. Tom, your thoughts on track number 3?
I thought it was quite plain, actually. It's not particularly my favourite genre of music. But again, the vocals I couldn't really hear that well either. I don't know if that was on the recording or mixing or just the way it's been put together. But it's definitely not a track I would choose to listen to, I think.
All right. Appreciate that, Tom. And let's see. Let's go over to Ian, find out what he thought on this track. Ian, what do you get on track number 3?
Wow, the drums were huge. They were massive. I loved it. Them drums were absolutely pounding, but they weren't blocking anything but the vocals. The vocals in this, the vocal mix, in fact, the whole vocal mix lacked and let this track down. I mean, you know, this has got so many influences running through it that I could hear the early Zeppelin stuff with the mix with those big drums and the live sound. It's got a groove from some of the bands like Clutch. It's got elements of Ocean Colour Scene in there, early Soundgarden, Stone Temple Pilots, Alice in Chains. I could hear so much coming in, which is great. But the vocal hasn't really stuck with me lyrically. The melody was okay, and it's kind of sort of late 80s, early 90s, and doesn't really move on from there. It's very well done. I mean, I just want to hear that vocal more. And I felt the bass lacked clarity. But, I mean, kudos to the drummer. He done a very, very good job on this. The bass player seemed to keep up as well from what I could hear. That vocal needs attention. And I think it is a mixed thing. I think the performance was pretty good. But it seemed to be dry, and they just seemed to be all over the place with the layering, and just they didn't get it right. Go back, look at that vocal mix, and you know, it's a good track. Whether it's going to stand up in today's day and age, I mean, it really does sound like something I'd download off a special Soundgarden album where they released some of the demo stuff from way back in the late 80s, early 90s.
All right, Ian, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And last but not least, Mr. Tom Chianti. Tom, what do you think on track number 3?
I have to agree with everybody on the vocal. I like the doubling of the vocal, but it was buried. And that's definitely a mixed thing. Vocals are the most important thing in a song because people tend to focus on what's the loudest, and it should be the vocal, and you should be able to make out all the words and at least hear them all. The drums mix was great. I really like that. The bass was a little lacking. I agree with Ian with that. Overall, I mean, if this was playing in an elevator, I might go an extra floor to hear it. I liked it. It seemed the touch short, but for this style of music, you know, that's...
At least it didn't fade out.
It didn't fade out, and, you know, it did sort of trip off the curve at the end there. It ended really sudden. But I liked, outside of the vocals, which could have been treated so many more ways and much better.
It's like I know the effect they were going for, Tom. It's that Alice in Chains layering effect.
Yeah.
What weren't they getting? What weren't they getting right?
Well, the timing was a little off, and they didn't EQ it enough to really stand out and push it. You know, raise the fader. In this type of music, you know, when I was mixing, you know, heavy stuff, it's like raise the fader. You know, and if that doesn't do it, you got some work to do. But always, you know, start low, work your way up, and then don't stop. Go a little bit further to really hear what it sounds like with a powerful vocal. I mean, the vocalist did do, you know, it had enough emotion in it, and it definitely the playing overall was excellent. The drummer kept great time, and I liked the changes and everything about it. It's, again, we say this over and over on the show about the vocals being the most important thing. They have to focus on it. It's got to draw people's attention in and pull them into the world of the music, and not just, say, hey, that drum is great. You got to say, hey, that band is great, especially if you're a band. And if you're a solo vocalist, well, this thing just fell flat on its face.
All right.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you, Tom.
All right, Tom, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And let me take the time to introduce that track. That track is called Scurvy by a group called Stepdaddy. So, Stepdaddy, thanks for sending that track into Music Scene Investigation. All right, gentlemen, I want to remind everybody out in the audience to be a witness. We need to know what you guys thought, what you think about the music you just heard on today's show. There's a button off to the right-hand side of the screen that you're looking at right now called Be a Witness. Click on that. It'll bring up those 3 polls. You can let us know what you think through there, and we'll bring you the results of that next week as we send our panel off right now to determine on a Song of the Week. Gentlemen, you know how it works. Discuss amongst yourself anything you'd like about the tracks you just heard and make a determination on what you believe the Song of the Week should be.
You're sending us off.
Yes, I am. I'm sending you off into this corner to determine a Song of the Week.
Oh, everybody retreat to their own corners, eh?
Look, I'm having a real mental conundrum here, guys. I need you to help me because, my heart's saying number 3 because I'm saying Alice in Chains, I'm saying Stone Temple Pilots, I'm saying Soundgarden, bands I love. But my mind's saying number 2 is the better song, and that's Enrique Iglesias, and I'm embarrassed about that.
Well, I would definitely strike number 1 out entirely. From my point of view.
That's
number 2 and 3. Number 3, if the vocals were a lot stronger, it'd be a lot better. There's no doubt about that. That's what lets that track down. So yeah, I agree with you there, Ian. Which one?
Where are you at, Tom? Tommy? Tom?
Me, I have no problem as ever because I'm good at this.
So what's your recommendation?
I have to say, since the single problem with number 3 was the vocal, my choice would be number 3. Had Enrique Iglesias done number 2, it would have been number 2 because it would have had more production, more percussion, more passion in the vocal. The bass wouldn't have been drowning everything out. If we're going to take a meter and measure problem per problem, number 3 is, along with being the shortest, it has the least amount of problems. I mean, just fix that vocal. All they got to do is go back in, recall the mix, and do, an hour on the vocal, and boom, it's done. Number 2 has got to be taken back in. They've got to retrack. They've got to add at least a dozen tracks of percussion. I mean, off the top of my head, I can, horns, you're absolutely right, Ian, horns. They've got to change the arrangement, put some stops, and pick up the tempo, go. It is a song that, you want to get up and dance to, but, for me, that type of Latin-style music should make me want to jump out of my chair and dance. And that song did not make me want to jump.
All right, so what you're saying then is track number 3.
I thought I said that.
I'm just verifying.
Well, officer, you must know.
All right, track number 3 from Tom Chianti. All right, it's up to you guys, Ian, Tom. You guys make a decision now, I guess.
I totally agree with Tom. I mean, if you're looking at it from a business point of view, number 3 is the easiest and quickest to get redone again. But again, it was just the vocals, and they could easily go and redo whatever they need to do to get those vocals to become more pronounced. So yeah, I'd agree with Tom and go for number 3.
Right, I'm going to go with that as well. That's a simple decision. Then you've won me over. But I would like to say to number 2, go and get that in front of people. Get that track in front of people who might want to re-record it for you. Act as the songwriter rather than the artist, because it's a very strong track.
All right.
I'd love to hear that track number 2 done live, because I bet you there's a ton more energy, the tempo's faster, and there's a lot more emotion coming out at the time.
All right. Well, maybe we can get the band to give you a live version of that, Tom. I appreciate your gentlemen's...
I got the studio. Yeah.
There you go. Invite him in. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Tom, Mr. Oswold, Mr. Tom Oswold, I appreciate your being with us, and best of luck at everything over at Red Dragon Records. Sounds like you guys are up to some really cool stuff.
Thank you.
And we hope to have you back again with us sometime. If you'll join us, we'd love to have you.
Oh, I'd love to. Anytime. Just let me know.
All right. Wonderful. All right, everybody. Want to remind you that 2 weeks from this Wednesday, or actually a week from this Wednesday, is the hit list, where you'll hear the music from the Song of the Week artist from last month competing for that Band of the Month position. And that means that they're going to be in the battle, I guess, for... some great prizes in PR from our sponsors and partners. So we certainly hope you tune in for that over at Music Scene Investigation Radio at MSI Radio. And that's going to be at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, or excuse me, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 10:30 p.m. GMT. Again, that's on Wednesday, a week from this Wednesday. And we'll be back here, of course, every Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. GMT with another edition of Music Scene Investigation. Now we're going to leave
Rich,
out... Yes, sir,
Rich,
Tom.
If I just, as a strange coincidence, this is the 3rd week running we've all agreed.
And it is also on a Sunday, Tom.
And it's on a Sunday.
Another exciting coincidence. We're going to play out with track number 3. Here is Scurvy by Stepdaddy as our song of the week. So thanks for being with us, everybody. We'll see you next time.